Good evening once again, everyone. My name is Mr. Smeghennigan, and tonight we're going to be doing the third part of this Alundra Let's Play, where we begin by talking to a couple of people. Thought I heard something there for a second. But yes, we're going to talk to a couple of people first, and then we're going to actually start exploring the land of Torla, as it is. The mayor and his wife have obviously moved. It's just like, I wonder where they are. Oh, wait, there they are. Because somehow I managed to miss them in the background. I think they blended in slightly. A bit iffy like that. And yes, thankfully we're allowed to stay here for as long as we want, which is always a good thing. I hope you weren't able to read that, because otherwise that would have been a slightly useless bit of dialogue. And yes, we're finally heading out into the wonderful world. After about 6 seconds of loading. I really should try and cut these out later on. It'll depend on, time allowing and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, yes, here we have 3 directions. Megascar is to the north. I would go there, but, well, it would have been kind of pointless to go here. And here we have another character who is going to be interesting in the upcoming story. His name is Olin. Once again, loading times. No, and yeah. Here we go. As you can tell, he's important because he has a portrait, and he and Keisha apparently have a thing. Unfortunately, we can't get past him because he is basically giant. Now, anyway, come on. Yeah, I really should cut those out later. Anyway, yeah, we decided to just start fiddling about with all the stuff around here. I should probably turn some things off on my computer. Whatever. And yes, here we see some more interesting people, because this man apparently has a mustache that goes around his face. And here we have someone who, now that I think about it, sort of looks like the sniper. Very, very vaguely. Now, well, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I'm probably just seeing things. Yeah, water in this game seems a little iffy at times. Here we got the cathedral that sits out of the town, and here we have the groundskeeper, Cephas. Now, I didn't have the heart to say no, because, like, why would you do that? You have to be rude. You have to be a rude dude to do that. I trimmed the bushes here, because why the hell not? Well, actually, I think I was trying to get money. And finally, we end up striding words. No, we end up walking forwards onto the next area. And here we see exactly how irritating fighting is going to be with a tiny little dagger like that. 5 strikes to defeat an enemy. Yeah, you can tell this is going to be fun. Now, it does become easier later on, but it's just finding weapons that are actually strong enough to take these guys out. As you can tell, very irritating. Something I found out as well. Apparently, you know how regional differences are a thing with games. Well, this one is no stranger to that. Like, what was it? Excuse me. Ah yes, there's a cave there. We could go there later once we have something to clear the rubble. And here's another fun thing. Herbs. I hope you like herbs, because we're going to be seeing a lot of them. No, but yeah, something interesting I discovered when I was watching, I think it was a Japanese long play of the game, or either a long play. I was watching a version of this that was in Japanese. I found out the enemies actually some enemies had less HP, like the slimes there. They could easily kill within 3 strikes. Some later enemies died in 1 instead of 2. And it was kind of an interesting thing. I found out also as well that what was it? Oh yeah, the characters, the villagers that you talk to, they were apparently pretty bland in the original game. Like, they were characters, but they were just sort of there to push the story along. It was only with the US localization and eventually the UK localization, whatever how you want to say it. It was only with the translation to English that the characters actually started gaining some character, rather amusingly. So if you want to find someone to blame for the surfer dude, who apparently was only given that sort of that sort of archetype because he looked the type. That's literally the reason that I had been given by one of the people who worked on the who worked on the localization of this game. He looked like a surfer dude. But anyway, if you want someone to blame the US localization team, or lord them, whatever you want to do. You give them credit, because if it weren't for them, this game probably wouldn't have been quite as encapturing, or uncapturing, whatever the word is. Anyway, here we have the first place that we actually have to explore properly, Tarn Manor. Do not enter. Yeah, you think that's going to stop him? Look at where the sign is as well. It's just like, yeah, we'll keep a sign here. And here we have one of the more persistent enemies in the game, monkeys, or as they're later revealed. I think it's already been revealed they're called the Merg. I think that's what they were called anyway. But anyway, it's revealed at some point. As we wait for loading times again. There we go. Tarn Manor. Alright, we walk forward and we get a little cutscene. A little scene cut. As we are shown a very, very slow cut. Here we go. Basically, don't go into this house. It's not a good idea. Said the guy who looks like a hologram. We're not gonna get to see him properly in the flesh for ages. So we're gonna have to get used to him looking like that. Oh, and this is another thing I was talking about. The monkeys themselves, they would have done in the Japanese version of the game, they would have died in one strike, which is what originally caught my attention on that in the first place. It's like, wow, he cleared them out really quickly. And here we have the charging abilities. I already showed them before, but yeah, I'm sort of half paying attention here. Yeah. Charging in this game obviously lets you run faster, and you can do a charge attack, which lets you do double your dagger's damage. Not later weapons, of course. After that, it just sort of becomes a thing used to just brush through. What were they called? Bushes. That's what they were. And those health items do start becoming a bit more different in how much they heal later on in the game once you start actually getting health. Now then, through here we have, well, nothing conspicuous apart for like a lever, because you know those are always inconspicuous. And we get a pathway further into the house. You gotta wonder what the hell did Tarn do here? Who even is Tarn? I don't think it's even mentioned. It's just the name of the house. And yes, here's the thing as well. Crates and barrels and all that sort of stuff, pots, anything that you pick up and can throw, they will always one-shot the minor enemies. Here's another incident where the water just sort of is odd. Like, all water that you can walk through tends to look like that, but sometimes sometimes you can't walk through it properly without impeding your movement speed and jump height. But then you get instances like that where you can just sort of walk on top of it. I think there's even instance where, like in the, what was it, the underground waterway that I showed earlier? That place you can actually swim in. It's a little inconsistent, which I'm not exactly a fan of. That bit was probably just for loading reasons, so I can understand why that would be like that. As you can tell, I'm not very good at not being struck by static enemies. These barrels, as you've already seen, will, they won't break even if you throw them, but if you throw them at an enemy, they will break as per usual, which might sound like a good idea, but it's not. It really isn't, because usually you need barrels for standing on or for, well, button pressing or button holding down words, for holding buttons down. And I am doing so good with my English language today. Can you tell? Enemies are defeated, the buttons are all held down, and we can continue on with the dungeon. Well, I say dungeon. This is just a house, a manor, as it were. You wonder why nobody ever tried to empty it out. Ah, yes, here we go. Gilded falcons. These things are irritating in a weird sense, because they're basically the collectible of the game, and as per usual, they don't come into play until later on. But if you don't know this, then you can end up losing some without knowing about it, and you get unfortunate instance where you can't 100% the game because of lack of prior knowledge, which makes sense, I suppose. But in some places, a little. I don't think egregious is the word, but certainly irritating. And yeah, as you can tell, sword slash does half the damage of a charge attack. Is where more of the isometric silliness comes into play. You can just sort of see where shadows are, which always sort of confuse me. Actually, now that I think about it, that is a little weird. Yeah, where's the light coming from? You gotta wonder that sort of stuff, you know? Oh, whoops. Anyway, this isn't exactly a puzzle so much as just sort of a time-wasting mechanic. Alright, go through here, and oh man, there's buttons to press. This puzzle must be so difficult. Well, it's not a puzzle really. It's just basically push all buttons, try and avoid getting hit, which is not too difficult for the most part. And then once all the buttons have been pushed, after trying to collide with a metal spiky ball, good idea me, we get a small key. Well, a key, but it's small, you know. Anyway, cricket minac. Here we get more ladders. Oh man, well, the first ladder in the game that you actually just climb. It's crazy. And here we get, oh boy, a life vessel. Totally not a heart container. This is more of a diamond container. Ooh. Anyway, as you start collecting more and more of these, it shows you how much health you have at the top, like your total, and any extras you get will obviously get consolidated into one big diamond, which is pretty cool. I mean, it sort of shows you just how much it sort of borrows from Legend of Zelda, more bloody herbs, but it's a thing, I suppose. I kind of forget where I was going with that. But, yeah, I feel I should mention there's a total of 50 life containers you can get, which is pretty good. You can't hit these monkeys until they've jumped, which is kind of an odd thing. So I decided to charge into him. Unfortunately, sometimes charging is a little odd, so you and your enemy hit each other at the same time, and damage is exchanged on both ends. Here we go. Now then, we need to just pick up the one thing that looks completely out of place, as you do with video games. The Book of Elna, as it were. Now, this thing is going to give us some hints as to what Alundra is potentially all about. I mean, he is, but it's the idea of, he could just have scarred himself by accident. And yes, he has revealed himself as Melzaz. And he tries to threaten, but he's a bloody hologram right now, or a mental ghost image. I don't know. But yeah, we regain control and accidentally pick up a crate, which has more bloody herbs. We can carry up to a total of 9 of them, and we hit that limit pretty quickly, because, well, for some reason the place that's lush and verdant just has herbs lying around in the middle of treasure chests people have just left around. It's kind of an odd thing, you know? I don't remember, check how many I have, but let's just say we've got a lot of them. We have enough to be able to keep ourselves alive for quite a while. The one thing I like as well is that healing items do actually end up scaling with your HP, so like it said it heals between 5 and 9 HP, which is pretty cool. And obviously you can't break those unless you have something to burn them. But anyway, yeah, the herbs do end up healing more or less, the more life vessels you have. And yes, here's a contrived, what's the name? Contrived barrier to keep me away. Oh man, I can't jump out. I can't jump to the side. That would be unhealthy. Well, that would not be a good idea. You get a lot of money here, which is always a good sign. And sorry, I feel like something is bubbling up, but I don't think it is. Alright. A bit of an odd situation here. I'm not entirely sure what I was doing, other than colliding with walls. These things you can't break through until you have another item, as you do. And weirdly enough, these guys are about as strong as the slimes in terms of health. Bit of an odd thing, really, when you think about it. I feel like I need to get a drink. All this saliva. Nah, that's disgusting. I do apologize. Anyway, we move over here. There's a lot of crap everywhere. You know, a lot of bushes, lizard man statue, the usual sort of things you find in these corners of the land, and an actual lizard man. It's not something to dwell on. And we get another sign, as per usual. And yep, that's another way we could have gone. Apparently immediately south is the Dark Swamp, the place that we can sort of hear splishing and splashing over right now. You can just sort of hear something waddling about over there. And I'm not entirely sure why I came through here to begin with, because I knew, oh no wait, hang on, there's stuff I need to go grab down here. Which is well, technically speaking, it's not stuff I need to grab, stuff I need to explore. Because, you know, you guys haven't seen this yet. Whoa. There's a treasure chest there we can't get, as you do. Pillars, which is cool, and water, which, when you walk on it, it's like, nah man, you're slowed down. And the outlook points to the left, which is good, and I like how it says, watch your step in the marsh. Like, don't worry about the lizard people, they're just sort of there to be distractions. You know, that sort of thing. And here we get the second Gilded Falcon. Fancy. These things, like I say, they'll come into play later on. Now that I think about it, they sort of look like vultures. I don't think I paused to show exactly how many I have in total. I mean, it's obviously not how much I've got, because we counted them so far. But it does show a running counter of how many you have, even once you start using them for their actual purpose, which, once again, becomes apparent later on. Anyway, we finally continue on through here to start exploring the place immediately south of Inoa, which has a house. Oh man. Obviously this is just an amusing little aside, but that place does become pretty interesting later on. Basically this game is loaded guns everywhere. As you can tell, we're sort of near the beach. Can you tell? Those, oh god damn it, I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, you can attack those bees rather interestingly, and those bees can attack you, which is kind of irritating. Thankfully they don't do a lot of damage. But you can just sort of see on the outer wall of Inoa, there's just a load of pillars designed to, well, I'm not entirely sure what they're designed to do. And we get the beach to the left, which is always a good thing. Always a fun thing, rather. Excuse me. Anyway, you can hear the ocean rolling away, or the ocean waves rolling down there. And we get someone's house, which is pretty much a pier of sorts. Or, well, it's down there. Whatever you want to say. You can tell it's sort of ominous, as Alundra stays there for a couple of seconds because I was trying to deal with something on the computer. And yeah, Nava here is also interesting, in that he blocks the way down there. And he's basically a doomsayer. He's like, oh man, people are gonna keep dying if you're here. And that treasure chest has some interesting stuff, but I can't reach it yet because I don't have the item for it yet. Once again, it becomes apparent later on. There's nothing this way. You can tell that there's water you can swim in and water you can't swim in. And there's a treasure chest that you can sort of get there, but it's stuck behind stuff. And this is what confused me about how Jess sort of appeared out of nowhere, because what was he doing there? How did he get there? And these turtles are kind of irritating. I mean, they're easy enough to destroy later on, but they're still sort of there to be irritating. Like, you can't hurt them unless their heads are poking out. And they can, well, for some weird reason, they can bar flames. Yeah. And yeah, here's another instance of where water just gets confusing. You can't walk on dry sand, but when you're on water that's lapping away from the ocean, it's like, yeah man, I can hop normally, screw you! It's kind of confusing. It's kind of, what's the word? Nonsensical, I suppose. Anyway, there are tree stumps there that can be cleared later on, again, with the right item. But, I need the right item to do that. It actually does say this way is Nava's camping. Kind of forgot about that. Now then, north of here is... Oh, what was north of here? Yes, a place called the Riverside Pub, which will appear in about 5 seconds. Here we are. Which is unfortunately still under construction. We can't enter it. It's kind of a sad thing. Surprisingly, it's locked. I think it's more of construction on the inside than the outside. You know, they have to set up the bar stools and the totally legitimate, entertainment systems in there. Which I'm still dreading. You can tell this rock is a weird rock, because it just doesn't sort of sit right. Like, again, it'll become apparent when we get there. Now, I can't forget why I stopped running here. It was a little weird. But anyway, there's another thorny bush that we can't reach. But the treasure chest inside, the treasure chest does have some pretty good stuff there. There's a statue of an interesting character who, depending on how good or bad you're doing at the game, you get some stuff from him. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get it on this run unless I'm really terrible. Whoops, I just hinted towards it. Anyway, up here we have an empty house, which I don't remember why I didn't try and access it. And we have some miners. And this dude just looks incredibly happy. Oh, well, hello there, screensaver. I didn't need that. And yeah, as you can tell, he thought it was better to be a miner because it sounds cooler. And this dude is having a little joke because it's like, no, I'm not crazy. No, the voice tells me I'm fine. Anyway, and we can't enter the mine because, well, dude's blocking it. And anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, there's an amusing moments for amusing things. The coal mine, and yes, north is a shortcut to the lake, which I was hoping to go access, but unfortunately it's being blocked. So I'll have to just ignore that for the time being. I don't remember how exactly. Oh wait, no, I do remember how I get the item there. Let's go through there. It's a thing, and yeah, we got stuff here that we can access if we explore some caves nearby. But I decided I didn't want to waste more time with exploring caves right now because it, well, would have been a waste of time. I'd already been playing for about an hour or so. Or, no, by this point it would... Actually, yeah, by this point it would have been an hour or so. So anyway, we head up here. We go talk to Olin again because with the completion of Tarn's Manor, he does actually start saying something different. After the loading times, of course. Now, he hints towards interesting items that can clear things in the time it takes for light to get from the sun to the earth. Hint, hint. And yeah, Jess apparently used to make those, which hints at something interesting. I mean, why would he stop making mining bombs? Why would he even make mining bombs? He's a swordsman. Or a swordsmith. I don't know. Anyway, clear out more of the bushes, because, well, someone needs to trim the damn place. I'm not entirely sure why I did that. Strange whims of a time when I'm being distracted by Skype and Steam, I suppose. Anyway, we head back into town properly, and before we actually end up doing anything with the Book of Elna, I decided to just sort of explore the place, talk to a few people. Like, little Mayor's kid is just like, wow, that's cool, dude. No. He obviously wouldn't have said it like that. That would have been bon air. I'm still surprised at him, to be honest. And yeah, like I said, there's some interesting stuff going on here. Like, he's wondering why exactly. We don't get any idea as to who explicitly he's talking about, but we can all sort of infer what he's talking about. It hints towards another person that he's been going out with, but, well, yeah. And here we get some more dark humor. Yep. It's a bit of a mental whiplash there. It's just like, oh man, it's so funny, it's so funny. Oh, he's dying. Oh, okay. We get to talk to Nadia here. Yep. That's all I can say about it, really. I'm not going to pass comment on that at all. Because, well, I'm pretty sure I would mess it up quite badly. Still got the destroyed table there, which, even if you don't watch that cutscene, ends up turning into that anyway. I think, anyway. Anyway. Now keep saying that word, it's going to stop making sense soon. Got Klein here, who's sort of just hanging around. He sort of knows he thinks he knows what's going on there, which is a bit of an odd one. Like, he says they might have been defending their territory out of instinct, but they appeared after Alundra was warned away from entering the place. Kind of an odd thing, really, isn't it? And we're getting near to the point where I end up saving the game, so excuse me. Yeah, Jess does not appreciate the fact that I actually did go to Tarn's Manor, and you could just sort of hear the sort of how he might sound in the text, which is always a good sign, always a good thing. But yes, as I said, we're going up to save now, which marks the end of this video. I hope you've been interested in watching this, or I hope you enjoyed watching this, that's what I was meant to say. And I hope you stick around for the next one, because we actually start seeing more of Alundra's powers properly. It's crazy stuff, isn't it? Now then, I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all again next time.